On the road and hungry for a win against a Western Conference rival, the San Antonio Spurs are ready for this one to get started. And we've got time for a quick pregame.
Welcome.
Thanks for that, DA. And the Warriors move the ball so quickly. Their team chemistry is off the charts. And tonight, something we always like to see. Two fierce conference rivals going at it. Doris, what's the difference in emotion in a rivalry game such as this?
Well, what you like about something like tonight's game is there's a little bit of distaste, right? When these two teams meet, something important's on the line, and you can feel the intensity.
A look at the San Antonio Spurs opening lineup. Parker and Green are the guard set. Skilled tandem of Leonard and Aldridge at the 3 and the 4. And it's Gasol and at the pivot spot, manning the middle. Here's Green. Bounces high off the rim and drops. Green's got the first basket of the game for the Spurs. Curry dishes to Thompson. Pass to Durant. It's up a 3. The shot by Thompson, no good.
Boy, despite the miss, he did a really good job shaking himself completely free from the defense.
Leonard, the pass to Parker. Aldridge a screen. Aldridge sets up the pick now for Leonard. 2 on the clock. Good for the basket. Starting off 1 for 1 with that shot.
And he moves so well. When Leonard drives the lane, it's pretty much a guaranteed bucket. Terrific body control, and he plays with the ultimate force.
Here's Curry. It's rebounded by Leonard.
You're not going to see that very often. Plenty of space, but he just, let's face it, he whiffs on that one.
Good-looking screen by Gasol. Leonard kicks to Parker. The feed to Aldridge. Over Green. Misses off the left iron. And it's the Warriors' ball. Still without a basket in the game. Durant for 3. 18 that time from Leonard.
Got it! Oh, you did it!
He got it! What a shot!
Wow.
OMG.
And so it's San Antonio, bringing the quarter to a close with a 7-point lead. A look at the field goal percentage numbers tells the story of what tough defense they're playing today. We'll get right back to the action when we return. And work ethic, a big part of Steph Curry's success.
There's obviously ways that you can get better as a player.
And he's certainly become not only a complete player, but the kind of true star guys that every team is looking to build around.
You know, when he was drafted, Steph was viewed by most scouts as a great shooter. Not a centerpiece, but boy, were they wrong.
All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment. And before we move on, what do you guys think about what we've seen so far from the Spurs?
Just playing suffocating defense. That's been the difference here for them.
Well, the commitment is evident, and they are simply phenomenal at their aggression on the defensive end right now.
On the court right now for the Spurs, Mills and Manu at the guards. Anderson is out there with Laverne. And it's Gay in at the 3 spot. San Antonio shooting their first free throw of the game here.
In the Spurs last season, how about setting the all-time record for consecutive winning seasons with 20? This is a group that's won 50 or more games in every one of those seasons except the strike-shortened one in 99. That has to be a relief. First bucket was a long time coming.
Well, you've got to be resilient when you start off that slow. Kept pounding away, and finally they make a bucket.
And Mills kicks to Laverne. Gay dishes to Anderson. No good from 11 feet.
And as he squares up for mid-range, the defender right in his face.
Well, classic example of crowding the shooter, not letting him get comfortable in the mid-range.
McCaw, the pass to Livingston. Shoots over Mills, and the shot is good. The Spurs lead has been cut down to just 6 points, and the bucket from Livingston. For San Antonio, they've gone 1 of 3 to start out the second quarter. They set the pick. And Anderson kicks to Gay. Inside, Laverne. And the rebound goes to the Warriors.
Challenging the shot has almost the same effect as blocking it.
No doubt, especially when the shooter knows that a defender is draped all over him. That kind of activity alters shots.
Here's Green. No good from 11 feet. And Kyle Anderson gets the whistle that time. That is his first foul of the game.
Yeah, way to get there first and be willing to absorb the contact.
Young from outside and released it in time, but it's off the mark. And so it's San Antonio with a 6. Thanks so much, David, and we'll step away briefly, but get you right back out here for the start of the...
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
We so hope you enjoyed our first half. Ernie Johnson, Shaquille. It's San Antonio out on top at halftime. They have a 6-point lead. Kenny, what did you see from them?
Well, I think to shoot a high percentage, your offense has to be in sync. And in the first half, those guys were sharing the basketball, playing for each other.
And that will wrap up our halftime report, as it's just about time for the start of the second half.
We have a close ball game on our hands as we get set for the second half of basketball. You have to like what we're seeing. Doris, as a former guard, you know how much energy it takes to run a team and think a game as well as score. I mean, there's a lot on your plate at that position. What backcourt guys get an advantage of playing with a consistently high motor?
Well, Russell Westbrook, in addition to his ferocity, seems to be able to sustain his level of energy across a 48-minute game. I feel like the guy never gets a rest, so he's one high motor guy. I'll tell you a guy who doesn't do it the same way, but still it's required that he has a level of endurance that maybe would shock people, is James Harden. Like, the guy has the basketball in his hands. He's number one priority in terms of the defensive scout. So Russell Westbrook and James Harden, though they go about the job differently, both are phenomenal at having a great endurance and having the ball so much.
Our second half of basketball, and presented by Gatorade. Let's see who's all fueled up and on the floor to start the third. So for the Golden State Warriors right now, it's the Splash Brothers, Curry and Klay in the backcourt. Offense and defense with Durant and Draymond at the 3 and the 4. And it's Pachulia in at the 5. And on our sideline, our reporter, David Aldridge.
Kevin, the Spurs' Greg Popovich talked about developing players. He said, our method is usually tough love. I don't think coddling works, and beating them to death mentally doesn't work either. You give them a clear picture of what's demanded, show care, understand what makes them tick. If that doesn't get through, you get rid of them. Kevin?
And the military background of Popovich plays a part in this way of thinking, David. It's why the Spurs have been so successful for so many years. Parker kicks to Gasol. Nice ball movement by San Antonio. Down low, Pachulia with the steal. 5 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. Outside Curry. It's rebounded by Aldridge. Durant against Leonard. He kicks it to Gasol. It's stolen by Green. For the tie, off target. And we just finished the third quarter, and we've got a tight ball game here. It's San Antonio up 3. And after a quick break, we're going to come right back with the start of the fourth quarter. And a moment ago, inside the huddle with head coach Steve Kerr.
Get a couple stops, we get a couple run-ups.
Welcome back as we get rolling once more. The fourth quarter right ahead in what's been a very well-contested game. Spurs leading by 3. On the court right now for the Spurs, we've got Murray. Aldridge out there with Kawhi Leonard. Then there's Rudy Gay. And it's Mills in at the 1. And Leonard gets it to go.
And he's got the athleticism and strength to be a powerful presence inside. Leonard never afraid to get in and mix it up down low.
And Thompson kicks to Iguodala. Wants to screen on Gay. Here's Iguodala. Bounces high off the rim and drops.
Andre Iguodala showed great focus in the paint, even with all those bodies around him. Keeps his concentration.
Mills with it, picked up by Thompson. Leonard against Durant. And he could not get that one to go. A lot of contact, and he'll go to the line for two. It's on Kevin Durant. So the first one drops, and that gives them a 4-point cushion.
You know, when he was in high school in California, Kawhi won the state's Mr. Basketball Award. And you look at the list of guys who've won that award over the years, it has a lot of the all-time greats on it.
And the Warriors making a change here. Pachulia is checked in. Outside Curry. The three, that's in, coming off the assist from Thompson. And it's 6 points for Steph Curry.
Such a clutch shooter. This guy lives for these kinds of moments and delivers.
Mills with it, and Curry picks him up defensively.
Yeah, blown opportunity after the two-man game creates a terrific look.
Well, he simply misfired. Now, you've got to capitalize when the screen opens up wide-open shots like that.
Now, that is cold-blooded.
What a shot. He had no fear. I love it.
Draymond Green, who's checked in for Andre Iguodala. The Spurs also changing it up. Pau Gasol is checked in for Gay. Green comes in for Murray, and Parker subbed in for Patty Mills.
Well done that time. He is a player you can always count on in a situation like that.
Time called here. The Spurs decide to talk it over. They trail by 1. 46 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And now let's present our Jordan Player of the Game, Steph Curry.
And the way he's made his mark with his work inside, he's just been a slasher tonight. Always moving, getting to the basket at will, and just seemingly taking advantage of a D that was reluctant to get in his way.
Now let's go to the sideline and catch up with our Hall of Famer, David Aldridge.
Well, guys, during the last break, I listened to Greg Popovich talk to his team. He really got after him in the huddle. He said, look, you can rest after the game. You got to put it all out there if you want to win this one. Back to you guys.
Thank you, David. About 3 seconds between shot and game clock. Now the pass to Parker. Green with a screen for Parker. Green kicks to Leonard. 6 on the shot clock. Over Durant. It falls!
Yeah, and for mid-range, Leonard's jump shot is money. It doesn't matter if it's off the dribble or catch and shoot. He never loses his touch.
Now a timeout called by Golden State. They trail by 1. 7 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Guys, what do you think?
You know what? Enough time that they can run whatever play they're most comfortable with.
You'd think they want to do everything they can to get it to their hot hand.
That's right. No other option but to foul and hope for some misses. And Parker just so skilled at marching his way to the stripe. He just has an endless amount of cunning moves that consistently frustrate the opposition.
A bit of heroics at the line right there as he bumps their lead to 3 and makes things a little easier for them defensively.
And so it's San Antonio who scrape by with the win. They break the hearts of every fan in the building with a dramatic late victory.
And Kevin, this is the kind of win you have to take a ton of pride in. I mean, they battled with everything they had and came through when the pressure was at its highest.
And now we'll send it over to David Aldridge, who is standing by courtside. David.